Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome to English online class. This video has been recorded as part of ICET Public School online classes. Dear students, in the last class we have discussed about the way how should we write the stories and any other narratives. As part of it, today we are going to discuss a story written by R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan's story from your treasure trove. The title of the story is A Horse and Two Goths is the name of the story. In this story, what I am planning to do is just explain the paragraph line by line, word to word, discussing in detail, analyzing every expressions and the sentence structures he has used. This all I would like to explain with the textbook. So I request all students, please take your textbook in your hand, open page number 52 where this story is. Before going to the story, I have already mentioned it in the other classes also. Whenever we meet a story or a poem, that the entire poem and story, the writers, we must know a bit about it. So it will be a great knowledge in future too. So that in grade 9 and 10, what are the poems and stories you have read and learned, you must know the name of the writers also. At any cost, a bit about the about biography of that writers also, at least their place and their age and their time of writing. If you know that, that will help you all a lot to understand literature in detail. So as I said, this story, A Horse and Two Goths, written by R.K. Narayan. So I will say a few words about R.K. Narayan. So his biography, why he was the one of the famous Indian novelist. So he is an Indian. R.K. Narayan is an Indian. His stories were of compassionate, humanism, humor and energy. This is the quality of his writings. His works reflects an ordinary life. So he make use of the ordinary common people as his characters, and he used such a language also in his story. It becomes very simple. He born on 10th of October in 1906 in Madras, now Chennai. Father was is a was an headmaster in near school. He spent his early childhood days with his maternal grandmother. Name was Parvati in Madras. Only few weeks he spent his childhood life with his parents and siblings. Then he studied 8 years at Lutheran Mission School in Madras. After that, a short time at CRC High School. Then his father was appointed headmaster of the Maharaja's High School in Mysore. He moved back in with his parents. He obtained bachelor's degree from Mysore University. In that time, first attempt he did not qualify for the entrance examination to study. The second chance he got he passed the entrance examination and he got an opportunity to study in Mysore University. He devoted his life as a writer, even though he worked as a teacher at the beginning. As a career, he started as a teacher, but later he realized that his real taste is to be a writer. He devoted his life as a writer. He started his career by writing short stories which appeared in the Hindu. Now also we have the Hindu newspaper. In those time he started to write a bit small short stories, and the Hindu published that short stories. He also worked as a Mysore correspondent of Justice, a newspaper from Madras. He worked as a correspondent, as a writer in another newspaper named Mysore Correspondent. Then he began his writing career with the Swami and Friends in 1935. So his first published story was Swami and Friends. Swami and Friends was the first story published in 1935 before independence. Then in Swami and Friends he set a fictional town of Malgudi which captures India unique identity of its own. So in that time it became, in that story has created a place, it is Malgudi. So it became that Malgudi became an identity for, as a in Indian writer, it became it became very popular. Then his writing style was simplicity and humor. He told stories of ordinary people to live their simple lives in changing world. So this was his main theme of that, in changing world, how the ordinary people they live. It was the theme of all his stories. Then he is the master of humor, irony, realism, romance, and artistry. Stories are set in South India where, like Thomas Hartley, Wessex. In Wessex, Hartley created a famous town in Alcoid. Some critics told that he lacks true pathos, depth of feelings, description of poverty and misery element, make a novelist great. Then his awards, he has won many awards and honors, won numerous awards and honors. The Guide Sahitya Academy Award in 1958, actually it is Sahitya, not Sakitya. Then Padma Bhushan in 1964. Then A.C. Benson Medal by Royal Society of Literature in 1980. He was elected as an honorary member of American Academy and Institute of Arts and Letters in 1982 and nominated to Rajya Sabha in 1989. So like that, many awards and honors he has received. Then some of his works, as I said, that he started to write with the story Swami and Friends. Then he wrote Bachelor of Arts, The Dark Room, The English Teacher, The Guide, the Painter of Science, then Malgudi Days, then Cyclone and other stories. God, like that, many stories and novels he has written. These are his work. So in this, Malgudi Days was the we can say the most popular among all other stories written by R.K. Narayan. So this is what all about, so a bit about R.K. Narayan. So those who are interested to know more about him, you can search, you can Google, you will get it. So some of his autobiography, My Days, and in 1974 he published his autobiography, My Days, and My Dateless Diary also in 1960. That also another autobiography has written. So these are the honors and books and writings about this great writer. Now we can move to the text. Now you may take this book in your hand. I'm going to read the story, the paragraph, first paragraph. You may look into the story, into the lines. So if possible, you may keep your finger over the lines when I am reading, so we can discuss in detail, and we can also analyze the word meaning and possibilities and the tenses used and how he started and all. We can discuss in this. So he starts his story like this: A Horse and Two Gods is the title of the story. Of the 700,000 villages dotting the map of India, Kritham was probably the tiniest indicated on the district survey map by microscopic dot. So this is the first sentence of the story. He has started the story writing in past form, that has in a way that has happened in the past. So the 700,000, 70,000 villages dotting the map of India. Dotting the map means marked as a dot. So here the dot as used as a verb. So we are dotting the map of India, marked as a dot in the map. How many villages? That 70,000 villages has been marked in a map of India. In that Kritam was probably the among that dots, among that all dots, maybe the village called Kritam. Kritam was probably the tiniest, smallest indicated on the district survey map by the microscopic dot. In a map, district survey map he was looking. In that map, there were 70,000 villages marked as a dot. In that, the smallest, tiniest dot was of the village called Kridam. That Kridam had been marked in that district survey map as a microscopic dot. It means that it was that much so small as a microscopic level. So here we can understand the story has started in the past form. He has used a very good exact word, that dotting, dotted. So in order to, instead of writing marked or something, he used the word dotted. And microscopic, the word, if something is very small, we can use the word very microscopic. So here he has used such a word that the dot that his village represent, that dot had been marked as a microscopic dot. So this is another expression. But next sentence, look. But its size did not prevent its giving itself the grandiose name Kritam, which meant in Tamil coronet or crown on the brow of this subcontinent. So this sentence is also a beautiful sentence. So it started like that, of 70,000 villages. That Kritam was marked with as a very microscopic dot. But even it is, the size is like so small, but its size did not prevent. But the size did not prevent. Prevent means, okay, did not block, did not prevent. The size of the village did not block, did not prevent to give the grandiose name Kritam. So even though the size of the village is very small, but the name is so grandiose, so big. Big in the sense that so means so grand. Grandiose means so fantastic, so grand it is. That the name, what is, which meant in Tamil coronet. The name Kritam is in Tamil. The meaning of Kritam in Tamil, it is crown. The name of that village is called crown. But the size is so small, but the name is so grand. So here he has used an expression, a sentence. Did you notice that? But its size did not prevent. So it's a way of expressing. So instead of telling that, but the size is so small, but the name is so grandiose, not like that. Size did not prevent. Did not prevent. Size not prevented. Okay. Size did not prevent its giving itself. The size of the village did not prevent itself to give the grandiose name. Oh no, I don't want that big grandiose name because I am so small, like microscopic dot. So I don't want that big name. So it did not prevent like that. So it received a grandiose name to that village. The name of that village is meaning crown. It is. So it is on the brow of this subcontinent. So it is at the brow of. Brow meaning, you have learned in the previous class of the story Old Man at the Bridge, in that we said that the brow of the river, we said. So brow meaning actually eyebrow, you know. This is what eyebrow. So actually eyebrow means not this line, but this part entirely called brow. Brow of the eye, so that is why it is called eyebrow. So this slope area is called brow. So this is what why we make use it as a eyebrow, like that. So in a river there will be a slope area to the slope area to the river. So that slope is called bro, river bro, we can say river bro, like that eyebrow, river bro. Here also this village is a bro of continent, so it means a part of the continent, a slope of the subcontinent. This village Kritam was. Now, the village consisted of less than 30 houses. Now, talking about that, what are the things contained in that village, or how many houses contained in that village, how many people are living in that village. So, the writer says, Arkanarian says that there were how many? The village consisted of less than 30 houses. So altogether it was less than 30 houses in that village, only one of them built with brick and cement. Among all that 30 houses, only one house was built in a properly manner means using brick and cement, and only one. Altogether 30, below 30 houses were there. Among that, one house was built using cement and brick and all, and not only that, painted a brilliant yellow and blue. So that house, that cement, using that, the big house we are talking about, that house was painted with yellow, bright yellow and blue color all over the gorgeous carving of gods. And in that house there were very gorgeous, attractive means beautiful. Gorgeous means attractive, beautiful, we can say gorgeous girl, like that. So very attractive carvings of gods were there on the wall of that building. There were very attractive, gorgeous carvings of gods. Gods mean they had many gods, not only one god. So they worship many gods. So that they had carved the picture of the gods in that wall of that building. Carving meaning, so in masjid or even in our home also, not the present contemporary home, just before the home, the front door we will use, the carpenter will carve some pictures or images on the door. Even now also in masjid and all, some the verses of Quran or something, the carpenter might have carved on the door. It is what called carving. Okay, so like that, using the cement on the wall, in cement they had carved the pictures of gods over that. Not only pictures of gods, but they had carved one more thing, and gargoyles. Gargoyles means that is a projecting image. So opening the mouth of a creature, just like in the picture. So through the mouth of that picture, sometimes maybe water may be sprouting, like that. Statue type statues is called gargoyles. That gargoyles on is balustrade means that open terrace, on the parapet, we can say, on the boundary, on the parapet of that building, there was a statue of gargoyles. So that was the big house. It was known as the big house. That built in cement and using cement and bricks, and it was painted beautifully with bright yellow and blue and the color, and they had carved the pictures of gods over the wall, and on the balcony or on the parapet of it there was a statue also over that, that is gargoyles was there on the top of it. And this house was called the biggest house in that village. So this was the condition of that village. Now you might have got an idea, a picture about it. The other house, now we are talking about the other houses. Below 30 houses were there. So one was like this, and all the other houses that distributed in 4th Street. You see the usage of the word distribute. We know that we are very familiar with the word distribute. So, but we will not use such words while we are writing. So, instead of scattered or spread, the writer has used the other houses, all the other houses distributed in 4 street. So the other, all other houses that have been distributed in all other, there are 4 streets are there in that village. In that 4 street the other houses were distributed, that spread in the other streets, were generally of bamboo thatch. So that houses are like not cement and brick, so that was made of bamboo thatch or straw or mud and other unspecified material, using whatever the natural things they got from the field and their land. Using that they had made their houses. So that is that was around this big house, all other 4 street, these were the things that spread all distributed in all other street of that village. So that also we said. So here the usage of the word distributed is very that means the right usage of that word. And the we are talking about the material also, we said it was made of. Then Muni, yeah, the character is coming now. The character of the story is Muni's was the last house in the 4th street. So now we are talking about the character Muni. His house was at the end of the street, means the last street. 4th street, his house was on the 4th street, means beyond that, beyond which stretched the field, beyond that the a vast area of field. So a cultivation area, that is after his home no other houses. His house was the Muni's house was the last house, and after that is a plain area of cultivation field. So it was like that Muni's house. And in his process, now talking about things about his past. Okay, now already the story has written, as I said in the previous class, that already the story has written in the past only. So here again talking about his past. How was his past in those days? So that is what we are talking about. The sentence starts like this: in his prosperous days. Prosperous means in his healthy and wealthy days, in his young time, in his happy time, is prosperous, young and healthy that time, prosperous days, Muni had owned a flock of 40 sheep. So here used past perfect. Muni had owned. So talking about a past thing again. So already that story is talking about past thing. So in that past again. So in now Muni is not like that. Okay. Now Muni is not like this now. So Muni actually in his young time, in his prosperous time, he had owned, he was the owner of a flock of 40 sheep. He had a flock of 40 sheep he had, and goats also. 40 sheep also, 40 goats also he had in those time, and sallied forth every morning. Sallied means to go for doing something. So to, for example, if you are going for a work, so the people in the morning they are going for a work, for that we can say that sally forth we can say that when the people are going and preparing, they are going for a work, it is called sallied. When we are just like that, when you are coming to school also, you are going to do something. So purposefully you are going somewhere to do something, that is what called sallied. So now onwards you can use in your vocabulary also, sallied. Okay, sallied forth, and he sallied forth every morning, driving the flock to the highway a couple of miles away. So a couple of miles away highway is there. So towards that area he will drive the entire flock of sheep and goat to the highway area. He was sallying forth, he was driving them to that area to do something, to graze them. There he would sit on the pedestal of a clay statue of a horse while his cattle grazed around. So what he will do there, while his sheep and goats and all the entire cattle, they were grazing, they were eating food, that is what called grazing. They were grazing on the field of that area. He would sit on the pedestal of a statue. Pedestal meaning pedal, in cycle pedal. So where the pedal will be at the bottom, that pedal. So like that, the bottom of the statue is called there. So there will be a square type altar will be there. So that altar is called the pedal of the pedestal of that statue. He will sit on that. So there was a statue of a horse, and on the pedestal of that statue horse, he would sit there and he will graze the cattle. The cattle were eating food and all, he will graze them sitting there. So that is was his prosperous time he was doing. 40 sheep and 40 goats were there. So he will take them, drive them towards the highway side, and he will let the cattle eat his food, and he will sit on the bottom of a horse statue and he would watch this. There he would sit on the pedestal of a clay statue of a horse while his cattle grazed around. Then he carried a crook at the end of a bamboo. Then also talking about how he was sitting and how the way he was doing that work in those time. Mean in his prosperous time, he was every morning he will go, he will sally forth like this, and he will do that work. And he at that time he had a crook at the end of a bamboo pole, and he had a stick, a bamboo pole, like that. The shepherd will have a stick, that stick at the end of it, that there will be a rope, a small rope will be there. So that is what called crook. He had a crook of a bamboo tree. At the end of the pole there will be a tag. It was there at the end of a bamboo pole, and snapped foliage. And also he had a snapped foliage from the avenue or trees to feed his flock. Then what he will do, that he carried a crook at the end of a bamboo pole and snapped foliage. Snapped meaning just broken foliage. He will break the foliage meaning leaves. He will break the leaf of avenue tree foliage. He will break the snapped foliage of the avenue trees. For what? That tree leaves, that avenue tree leaf, in order to feed the sheep and goat. He will take that also. He also gathered fagots and dry sticks. And also he will gather fagots meaning bundle of dry sticks is called firewood. That bundle is called fagots and dry sticks, bundled them. So he will collect the dry sticks and the branches of trees and all dry firewood also he will collect, and he will bundle it. Then he carried them home for fuel at sunset. So he is carrying that one. He is carrying, for what he is carrying these things? So the foliage, the leaves of the avenue tree he is taking in order to feed the cattle and sheep, and also he takes the bundle of firewood in order to cook food for him. So for that, so while he was going in the morning with the cattle and with the sheep and goats, when he was coming back home, he will have the foliage, the leaves of avenue tree in order to feed the cattle, and he will have the foliage, bundle of firewood also. He will bring that foliage, that bundle can be used to cook food for him. This was the practice in those his prosperous time. It was like this. So in this paragraph, you might know I have explained each and every word and sentences. Why? In order to make you understand better the entire paragraph, and you have to analyze, you have to think deeper and clearly know how the stories can be written and what does it mean, which word the writer has used in it, why he has used it, and the appropriateness of the word, and the tense usage, and how he expressed each idea and all. So you see the expression, and first we said that the size of the village did not prevent that arrangement of the words and all, like that, how he has used, arranged. So these all the things in linguistically, language wise, we have to learn. So I request all students, please read the story, at least then not the entire story, please read the story, at least you may just for how many times? Two times. The paragraph, only this paragraph, read it two times, read it two times, and send me a voice note of summary, voice summary. Okay, please don't read the story in summary, what you did understand without looking to the book, what you did understood, that you simply send to me as a voice note. Okay, I don't want anybody reading the entire paragraph, no need. What you understood, that you say in your own words, your own words you may say as a summary of the first paragraph and send to me personally. I am waiting for that. Thank you for watching this class and wish you all the best. Have a nice day. Okay, bye bye.